Hello and welcome to a fourth line day. Today we have the 42 and the 32, of course, in line 4. These are my Sun Earth design, Sun Earth. So, because I'm a 2-4 profile. So these are, I resonate to both of these. Interesting. I would love to know, maybe this is something else you could explore for yourself, is how do you actually experience your design activations? Are you really in touch with them, or are you much more in touch with your personality, which would make sense because they are your conscious activations. Our design side are our unconscious activations. So it's really only through doing something like this for me, where I'm really focusing in on it, that it brings my awareness to that design side. But generally speaking, I really find it very hard. Sometimes I don't even remember what gates I've got on the design side, even after doing it for quite a long time now. So it can be very challenging to focus on that. Do you have any experience on that? If you'd like to share it down in the comments, then I would be very interested to know how that is for you. But the 42-4 is called the middleman. And this is the fourth line that is sort of expressing the lower trigram, but at the same time, it's establishing a new perspective. The middleman. The middleman is the archetype of the mediator. And I remember when I had my very first reading, I was told, or I was asked, I was told, I bet you're a really good mediator. And I'd never really thought about it before, but there have definitely been occasions in my life where I have found myself in that position of keeping the peace. Oh, it's an interesting thing to see it with that, and with the genetic continuity as it follows through in other gates and other flavors of the fourth line coming in. But the exaltation we have here is the maturity to bring growth through mediation. The detriment is where the gift to establish and maintain relationships is ill-suited to this position to act in mediation, where harmony must take a backed seat to pragmatism. The 42 is a collective gate of impersonal sharing. Oh, and this is the missionary who can be very fixed in their externalization. Ra says that people with the 42-4 know exactly what it is they're externalizing. They know exactly what forms need to be completed, and they will do that regardless of their relationship with the other. The detriment doesn't do that because they are trying to accommodate the other, and in doing so, they can limit the growth that is the process of this gate. There is a need for the other in this line. How often have we found this in our exploration of these gates, that we get to the fourth line and we start looking at the other, finding the other to help them with the correction or to help them complete the task, whatever it happens to be, to fulfill the mission of the hexagram or to externalize the truth of that hexagram. Fourth lines are not actually very social. This is something that is it's often used, because of the friendliness, because of the networking. It's assumed that fourth lines are also very social, and it's not true. It's not true at all. I've got 11 fourth lines and I can be sociable, but it's not really in my nature. It's not something that I'm hugely comfortable with, especially being a hermit on my design, on my personality side. You're having that 2-4. But I do have this huge potential for friendliness and for networking and for making people feel comfortable and that kind of thing that comes through the fourth line. Fourth lines are also very influential, and they are opportunists. They know that they need the other, and they will take the opportunities that come their way to use the other, in a sense, to help them do whatever it is that needs to be done. Because the fourth line can be very sensitive to relationships, they are able to smooth the way. They are able to gentle ruffled feathers and to pour oil on troubled waters. These are all the things that this mediator, this middleman, is really, really good at. And we have the 32-4, which is called right is might. And here we have the instinct to maintain one's principles in times of change. And this is a force that is not going to give up its fixed continuity, no matter the consequences or the circumstances. This is someone who sticks to their principles, and someone who does that can be very influential. It doesn't matter whether they're wrong or right, or whether it's beneficial to the tribe or not, but it's that influence can be really like, oh, right, they must really have something there. So they have their fixed continuity, and this is what they're interested in. And the fourth line, remember, it doesn't want to change really. And the fourth line is, I mean, that's the same as the tribe. It has that sort of, what's the word? Phew. It's the same as the tribe. It doesn't really want to change. So they like their fixed continuity. It's a one trackness. It's a good day today, isn't it, for the whole word thing? One trackedness, a single-mindedness. That is probably a better way of doing it. The single-mindedness of the fourth line in the as the mediator, you know, in the 42, they can be more fixed in their mediation, maybe once their principles are secure. And once they have the tribe watching their back, maybe that could be how the 32 is grounding the mediator. You know, it's bringing in that sense of, no, these are my principles and I'm not shifting from them. This is my continuity. And I know that the only thing that endures is change, but this is my continuity and I'm sticking with this. That's one interpretation. Have you got an interpretation on this? Mars transits into gate 22 at 2118 BST, bringing its mutative potential to the gate of openness and grace, which we also know is the gate of being closed and disgraceful. 22, it's a mutative gate already, so this added mutation potential from Mars might give it a little extra fizz. So yeah, be aware, see what comes up for you. It's there for about a week, give or take a few hours. So yeah, let's see if anything comes up for you during this transit. The moon at 5:25, an early one here, gate 12. So this will give us the channel between the 22 that's in Mars, just for a short while the moon is in 22. And this is the gate of caution and standstill. And again, individual gate, of course. And it is part of this only social channel in individual circuitry. Individuality can often be seen as being a bit odd, you know, they can feel like an outsider and they can be treated like an outsider because they have some very strange mutative ways of looking at the world. So some caution can be very advisable before they start sharing their mutation. That and the correct timing, caution and timing, those are sort of the watchwords for the 12 and the 22. Gate 15 is our next moon gate, and that's at 1533. And this is the gate of extremes and the love of humanity or not. And this gate can be about experiencing the extremes, but it also can be about finding the balance point between the extremes. So what's your experience of this gate? I have this gate and I have such trouble in forming habits. And this is one of the ways it expresses for me. I don't generally find that midpoint. I just see, yeah, okay, whatever. What can one do about that? But what's your experience if you have it as a consistent part of your makeup? What's your experience if you have it in the transit? Does it give you a channel? Do you already have the 5? You know, these are all things that you can play with. So then tomorrow morning, we move into gate 52. This is at 0151. So at 10 to 2 tomorrow morning BST. So 52, lovely. This is the gate of keeping still mountain. So here we have some time maybe to just sit and be still. It's the gate of inaction. It's in the root center. It's a logical gate, and it just brings us that opportunity to take a breath. And also the opportunity for depression, you know, if we're actually unable to stop, there can be a great deal of restlessness in this gate of inaction. So I'd love to know how this transit lands with you today. Would you like to share your experience with me? Please consider yourself asked, initiated, invited, all those things. I would love to hear what you've got going on for you. This is a process where I'm just sort of giving my interpretations here, but it's really all about your experience. Doesn't matter what I say and what I'm bringing out. So that's it for today. And yeah, go gently, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.